Welcome to the WIHS Journal, letting you know that Andrew Peterson will be coming here to Connecticut March 31st at the Walnut Hill Church in Bethel, Connecticut. On the phone line with me today is Chris Barrett. He'll be sharing some of the details about his life, his music, and the event. Stay tuned.
Do you feel the world is broken? Do you feel the shadows deepen?
We know all about Andrew Peterson. We have so much of his songs here. So for listeners who don't know anything about Andrew Peterson, can you give a background of him?
Yeah, he's been a singer-songwriter out on the road for probably close to 25 years. And in recent years, he's started doing some authoring. So some people know him for his music. Some people know him for his Wingfeather Saga. It's a four-book children's series, but it's great for adults too. And he's written a couple of other books, and he's now producing an animated version of the Wingfeather Saga on Angel Studios, so the same network that The Chosen is on. So he's got his finger in a lot of pies.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like that. So we've had his music on the station just for so long. Is there a song in particular that he's going to be highlighting at this great event?
Well, Is He Worthy is probably the song he's best known for, and that will be a part of it. But the concert is called the Resurrection Letters Tour. It's similar to his Behold the Lamb Christmas tour in that it's a cycle of songs that take you through Holy Week to Easter and the resurrection. So it's really the telling of the Easter story in a way that, oddly enough, doesn't get done very often in Christian music, at least modern Christian music.
So what about some of his other songs that are kind of popular that people would know that too?
You might know Dancing in the Minefields got some radio airplay several years back. Yeah, I think he's probably best known for his Behold the Lamb of God Christmas tour.
So you holding this event at the church, what are you hoping that listeners will, take away from this night?
Andrew's a very gifted songwriter and storyteller. So he has this beautiful and graceful way of encapsulating stories that you know well and helps you to rehear them in a new and fresh way. So sometimes as believers, we kind of go through the motions of things we've done so many times before that we don't really hear the truth of the story. We don't really hear the power in the story. And Andrew's really good at reminding us and putting it in new words so you hear it in new ways.
So the song, Is He Worthy? Do you know some of the... I know the words, and we'll be playing that for our listeners during the interview, but do you know how that song kind of like came out of his passion?
For Andrew, he tends to write singer-songwriter kind of songs, not worship songs. So that one is sort of an aberration from what his normal songs are. But it's such a beautiful piece of music and such just a graceful way of kind of telling that particular story.
And if you are just tuning in right now, I'm speaking to Chris Barrett. We are talking about the Andrew Peterson concert that's coming up at the Walnut Hill Community Church in Bethel, Connecticut. And before you know it, that'll be taking place. Chris, would you know the testimony of Andrew Peterson? Obviously, he's a Christian. He has an amazing background, but did he always grow up in a Christian home?
He's a pastor's kid. So church was both a place of comfort and an uncomfortable place for him for a variety of reasons. And he ended up going off to Bible school. And really his introduction back to Jesus was through the music of Rich Mullins. That really caught his heart and his ear and made him believe that maybe there was something that he could do with music. And that's really been a theme in his life for a long time. He still talks about Rich Mullins very fondly.
Wow.
So it's really effective. I mean, in my estimation, I don't know about anybody else's, but in my estimation, Andrew has kind of become the Elisha to Rich Mullins' Elijah, taking that mantle and taking a double portion of it.
And some of the songs that we have here on the station of his that kind of modern is His Heart Beats and Remember Me.
His heart beats, his blood begins to flow, waking up what was dead a moment ago. And his
Yeah, those are both from the Resurrection Letters albums. They're a part of that, the telling of the story of Easter. So His Heart Beats is about when he starts to rise from the tomb, the moment when Jesus is alive again.
And All Things Together, the song All Things Together.
Yeah. The Resurrection Letters, he's written 2 albums, Resurrection Letters 1 and 2, and they were done about 10 years apart. So, it's a strange way to write a connected set of music about Easter and about the resurrection as well as the Passion.
Okay.
But that was on his heart to do it. So he actually started off with Resurrection Letters 2, because the first album was really more about Easter and the resurrection, and Resurrection Letters 1 is really about the Passion of Christ.
Yeah. You really know a lot about Andrew Peterson. I know that you're bringing him up here to Bethel, Connecticut. What else will be taking place that night? If listeners are thinking, I love Andrew Peterson. He has such, an awesome, they can relate to him because he's, been on the station for years. What else will be taking place that night?
Yeah, for those who buy premier tickets, there's a Q&A that will go on in advance. There's also a dinner. We will serve people a lovely Chick-fil-A dinner, and then they get to go in and have a Q&A with Andrew, and then they get their choice of seating, and then the folks who purchase the general admission tickets will come in and fill in the rest of the seats.
Oh, wow. Okay. So there's like premier seating and premier, there's an advantage to getting different tickets to meeting Andrew. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think I asked a lot of questions. I hope that I did. Is there anything that I missed out that you would like our listeners to know? We'll talk about the website, the time and location, but anything else pertinent to his life that I missed?
Well, the reason I know some things about Andrew is because he's been, the people putting on this concert, us, is the Community Coffee House out of Danbury. Walnut Hill Church is gracious enough to allow us to use their space for the larger concerts that we do. So we're very grateful to them.
Okay.
But we've had Andrew coming to the coffee house for the last, I think, since 2007. So pretty much an annual trip up here to visit and play. So we've gotten to know him over the years and consider him a dear friend.
That's great. So fill our listeners in on the details. You mentioned there's different seatings and different prices and how they can find out more details.
Yeah. So if you go to communitycoffeehouse.org, you can find out more info and ticket info there. Again, communitycoffeehouse.org. The concert itself will start at 7:30. For those who buy premium tickets, doors are at 5. That's when dinner is served. For those who buy general admission tickets, then doors would be at 6:30. So it's Friday, March 31st, 7:30 p.m. at Walnut Hill Church in Bethel, Connecticut.
Do you feel the world is broken? We do. Do you feel the shadows deepen?
Once again on the broadcast with us was Chris Barrett talking about the Andrew Peterson concert. That's coming up March 31st at the Walnut Hill Church in Bethel, Connecticut. For more details, give us a call at 860-346-1049. And while you're there at the Andrew Peterson concert, stop by the WIHS booth, get your free materials, and say hi. I'm Anissa Porticelli for News and Public Affairs.